3 lakh mark in 2023. So that was a quick snapshot of this year's festive sales. Joining me now is Shilpi Jain, Senior Analyst at Counterpoint Research, and Abhinav Joshi, Head of Research of India, Middle East, and North Africa at CBRE. Shilpi, let me come to you first. Give us a sense of how smartphone sales have grown in the last 72 days compared to last year. Hi, Shilpi. Can you hear me?
Hi. Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. Shilpi, could you give us a sense of how smartphone sales have grown during the last 72 days of the festive season?
Yeah, so this year festive season sales started from 8th October. And what we witnessed that during first week of the sale recorded 8% Y-on-Y growth in volumes and 25% growth in value. So the consumer sentiment, which was low throughout the year in terms of demand, we witnessed it in smartphone sales. It is back in terms of electronics and not just smartphones, but TV, accessories, and other electronic appliances also witnessed significant growth during this period.
Right. Shilpi, what about the remaining period of the festive season? We still have time till Bhai Dooj, another 20 days or so. What kind of growth do you expect in smartphone sales in consumer electronics?
Yeah, so the first week of sales was almost online, since 70% of the sales is from online. And then like every year, we saw uptake in offline market after that first week of sale. So we observed that the 15th October, which was the starting of Navratri period, and it was also the last day of online sales of first iteration of sale. So the online traffic was maximum on that day. Plus, during Navratri, we are hearing from the LFRs, multi-brand stores, that they saw huge uptick in demand in consumer footfalls during Navratri period, especially on the last day of Navratri and Dashera. So we believe that online sales will be stable during this period. However, there is still a period of 10 to 15 days where offline will be seeing growth, and then it will be demand will decline post that.
Okay, so you expect growth in offline sales, in brick and mortar stores, in company outlets over the next 20 days or so, and after that the demand could go down. Abhinav Joshi, coming to you, when it comes to residential property purchases during Navratri or the last 72 days starting Onam, have you seen an overall uptake across the country? Any key geographies you'd like to talk about?
Well, yes, Parikshit, Navratri is considered to be an extremely auspicious occasion for people to buy properties. At the same time, we also see the developer community becomes very active at this point in time. So these 40, 50 days are the ones where we actually see maximum number of launches and really robust sales. So in the first, I would say 8 to 10 days, we've seen about at least a 10 to 15% jump on an average in sales across markets. It could be different between different markets, but typically West is doing really well. Mumbai, Pune, a record number of both sales as well as registrations. Bangalore is also seeing a lot of surge. We're seeing surge in Gurgaon. We're seeing surge in parts of Hyderabad. So primarily the tier 1 markets are doing well, and the larger developers who've delivered quality products in the past, who have a good reputation and a profile in the market, they are attracting a lot of interest from buyers.
Right. And what about demand? Considering there is a huge consumer demand right now, Amazon, Flipkart, e-commerce giants are seeing record sales. What's the demand from the warehousing and the logistics sector?
Well, the warehousing and the logistics sector, similar to residential, Q4 is extremely important for them because e-commerce is one of the biggest demand drivers for modern warehousing in India. And the fourth quarter, we see a lot of festive sales via the online or the omni-channel route. So what we've seen is that in anticipation of the demand, a number of these larger e-commerce players and third-party logistic firms, they've already leased spaces in some quality warehouses. So in terms of surge, if you've seen on an average 7 to 9 million square feet of space getting leased every quarter in the first 9 months of the year, that figure could actually jump to 10 million square feet and above, which would be easily a jump of another 15, 20%. And that's the kind of jump we see, towards the end of the year every year.
Right. Shilpi, coming back to you, according to Counterpoint, we have seen at least 1.5 million iPhones being sold during this period. Have we been able to map out the kind of customers going for these big ticket purchases?
Yeah, so you're right. We have seen more than 1.5 million iPhones sold during the first week of the festive season sale. So we are seeing, due to this availability of financing schemes and no cost AMIs, it has made it possible for a wider section of society to afford these premium devices. So now, iPhones are offering, Apple is offering no cost EMIs with zero down payment with EMIs for up to 2 years, which means any middle class or any person can buy an iPhone with just paying 2,500 or 2,600 rupees per month. So that's and Apple is a loved brand in India. We have seen craze of the brand among youth and across all sections of society. Since price was a hindrance earlier, but due to this availability of schemes, now people are able to afford it, and that's why we are seeing record sales of iPhones in country.
Right. Abhinav, returning to you and speaking about the real estate sector once again, how will the next 20 days be? This is also an auspicious period. You've got Dhanteras, you've got Diwali, you've got Bhai Dooj. Are you expecting a continued uptick in residential sales, in property sales across sectors?
Yes, of course, without doubt. As I said, the fourth quarter and, typically this 40 to 50-day period is extremely strong, and we have enough evidence to prove in the last couple of years. We expect the next 15 to 20 days or up to 25 days to see a number of new project launches by developers, both tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 developers across the country, and home buyers, not just home buyers, but also investors selectively looking at not just apartment housing, but also plotted developments and all kinds of mixed-use formats which might come into the market. So we can expect a jump because a lot of fence-sitters who in the first 3 quarters of the year won't have taken a decision, they typically wait for this Diwali season, this auspicious occasion to finally take a call and deploy their capital. And also the fact over and above that is, RBI has been holding the interest rates for the last at least 4 monetary policy reviews, include the most recent ones. So I believe, this will further propel demand, and we'll see a very strong foot.
All right. Shilpi and Abhinav, thank you very much for joining us on Festive Sentimeter, giving us your view on the consumer electronics and the real estate sector, how this has grown during the 72-day period, and what about the next 15 to 20 days as well. We're taking a short break here on the program, but coming up, festive buying has brought cheer for car makers like Maruti Suzuki. The company sold 1 lakh cars during Navratri. A conversation with Senior Executive Director of Marketing and Sales at Maruti Suzuki, Shashank Srivastava, when we're back. Welcome back. Well, festive buying has brought cheer for car makers like Maruti Suzuki. The company sold around 1 lakh cars in the Navratri period. Senior Executive Director of Marketing and Sales at Maruti told me that the company may sell 1.4 lakh cars in the next 15 days. So which cars are people really buying? Shashank says SUVs, MPVs, premium hatchbacks and entry-level sedans are seeing the highest growth. Maruti is giving highest discount for Alto, Espresso and Celerio due to high inventory, and therefore the company is cutting back on production of entry-level cars. Let's listen in.
The one-day extra sale of the Dashera still being compiled. The Navratra sales were roughly in the industry about 2.2 lakh, and for Maruti around the 1 lakh figure. So it's been a good Navratris. Although when you compare it with the same period, Navratri period last year, then it looks like flattish. Last year also the Navratri sales was about 2.2 lakh. But I think the comparison may be misleading because the first 5 days of Navratra last year were also the month end. And in auto industry, the last 5 days of retail is generally very high, irrespective of what month it is. So I think when you look at the comparison, it looks flattish, but a better comparison, I believe, is Shraddh plus Navratri period. There you would see a growth of about 16%. In the industry, 3.3 lakh total sale against 2.83 lakh sales that we saw in the industry last year.
Okay. Let me also ask you about total sales till now as far as Maruti goes for the festive season so far, and what have been the bigger drivers in your portfolio?
Yeah, so if you look at the total sales from the festive season, and as you have said, the festive season actually starts on the 17th of August with the Onam month, the Chingam month, which is Kerala. And if you see the sale from that point till the Navratra end, then which is roughly around 72-day period, we have seen a sale of the industry of about 7 lakh units against 5.83 lakh last year. That's a growth of about 19-20%. Maruti Suzuki's growth is also similar. We have sold in this period about 3.11 lakh vehicles against 2.6 lakh vehicles of last year. That's a growth of about 20%.
Okay. Any major products which have really contributed to this growth so far? Is it coming from SUVs or what?
Yes. So largely because, when the festive season started from 17th of August with the Chingam month in Kerala, and then followed by the Ganesh Chaturthi and now the Navratras here in the other parts of the country as well. Then fortunately, we saw that the production could be very good because the semiconductor crisis seems to be easing. And that's the reason why we were able to produce a lot of those vehicles which had a long waiting list for Maruti Suzuki, like the Brezza, the Vitara, the Fronx, and so on. And even the Baleno, Swift and Desire production is also back to normal. And therefore, we were able to get these vehicles, and those have largely contributed to the growth that we have seen so far in the festive season.
Right. So you would sum it up as Brezza, Vitara, Fronx, Baleno, Swift, and the Swift Desire.
XL6 as well. So it's like the SUV, the MPV, the premium hatch, the sedans, entry sedan, those have shown a good growth for us.
Right. What about the bread and butter segment, as it's often called, the entry-level commuter car segment? Do you see continuous stress in that? Any improvements at all, Mr. Srivastava?
Yeah, so they're roughly flat. They're about 30% of the industry. Last year, they were about 33-34% of the industry. So we haven't seen improvement there. And largely because, as I have said earlier, the affordability factor has been coming down in that segment in the last few years because the prices have gone up in response to the regulatory stringency, as also the commodity price increases and so on. And that is why we have seen a decline in that segment. However, given the demographics of our country, a very young population, first-time buyers being high and the better economic growth that we foresee, it is possible that this segment will see a rebound in the near future.
Okay. Now, what would be your outlook for the remaining part of the festive season? How much do you expect Maruti Suzuki to sell during this period, the industry to clock during this period? What kind of bookings do you have, Mr. Srivastava?
Yeah, so current estimates from the field reports is that in the period between Navratra end and the end of the festive period, which is on the Bhai Dooj day, that is on the 14th of November, that's roughly a 15-day period. The sale in the industry expected to be around just above 3 lakh. Last year it was 2.67 lakhs, so a growth of about 12% is expected in the industry. For Maruti Suzuki, we are expecting 1.43 lakh as the sale in this period. That is an estimate for the next 15 days. As a result, in the industry, so far we have done 7 lakh plus this 3 lakh estimate, should get an estimate of just about 1 million mark in the industry. Last year, the similar figure was about 8.5 lakh. So the entire festive season should expectedly close with 1 million plus sale for the industry and 18% growth.
Okay. I would also like to ask you about discounting right now. We had been hearing from different kinds of reports, also some dealerships, about a heavy discount on certain Maruti cars. Was this offered by the company or is it at the dealer level? Are there a lot of festive schemes that the company has launched this time compared to last year?
So it's a mix. Some contribution obviously comes from the dealers, but also from Maruti Suzuki. And
With that, it's a wrap of this special broadcast. More news and updates continue right here on CNBC TV 18.